Interested in GLP-1?
Good evening. Good evening. I would like to call this meeting to order. Mr. Lotzenheiser, may I have the roll call, please?
President Wade, members of the board, please let the record show that all members are in attendance today.
Thank you. Please join me in a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
That would be Ms. Jarman seconding. Ms. Schultz, while yours is loading, do you want to verbally?
Yes. Yay.
Would you also like to verbally? That'd be great. Okay, great. Ms. Zimmerman, is that 5 yeas on your end? Okay, great, thank you. Motion carries 5-0. Mr. Lotzenheiser, you're up.
President Wade, members of the board, it's so excited for the superintendent's report and the Higley Happenings, Points of Pride, and upcoming events tonight. I would like to remind the audience that there will be a time that we will dismiss the audience after we go through all of this. So we would appreciate if you would stay while we recognize all of the different people that are here today for not just Points of Pride, but our Higley Happenings. But what an exciting, all right, we're a little bit ahead of the game right now. There we go. All right. For Higley Happenings, we have a few different groups that we'd like to recognize today. And so, if we could go on to the first one, please. All right. Let us first welcome up, and if they wouldn't mind coming up here, congratulations to the Sossaman Middle School Spartan Cheer Team. So the Spartan Cheer Team this year won the Junior High Show Cheer State Championships. A special thank you to our coaches, Beth Knigsvig and Tristan Kramer, for their leadership commitment to excellence. We're incredibly proud of this outstanding achievement. Way to go, Spartans. And I'm going to turn it over to our athletic director, Mr. Keeling, who's going to say a few words about the team.
Thank you very much. And that description was very accurate in describing the hard work and effort that these ladies put in all year long. 7 a.m. practices, multiple days a week, every week up until this point. And so we are so proud of what they have accomplished, and the scores that they got at each competition improved from competition to competition to competition, which just speaks to the effort that you guys put in every single week in practice. And so we are super proud of you, and congratulations on your state championship.
Mr. Keeling, would you do me a favor? Will you just pass the mic down so everybody can introduce themselves? So we'd like to know who's here tonight. So Absolutely. Just as they introduce themselves.
I am Beth Knigsvig. I am one of the cheer coaches.
I'm Amelia Waite.
I'm Quinn Waite.
I'm Grayson Rice.
I'm Keely Torres. I'm Bailey Burns.
I'm Peyton Pyatt.
I'm Tegan Morris.
I'm Avery McDevitt.
And I'm Avery Gibson.
And then I'm Coach Tristan. I'm the second coach for this team. I just want to say I'm super proud of these girls. They worked really hard for this season. So.
At this time, I'd like to recognize and congratulate our Marketing and Public Information Department. If they wouldn't mind coming down and standing right in the middle, please. So we're recognizing the Marketing and Public Information Department tonight because of the awards that they've won at the 2026 Aspiration Awards. That's the Arizona School Public Relations Association. As you can see, our awards of excellence and our awards of merit that we got for the different campaigns and the different things that we do. We always like to joke around. They prefer to be on the other side of the camera taking the pictures, so it's wonderful for us to get to recognize them for all of the hard work and dedication that they have done with their video, multimedia marketing, graphic design, and writing, all of the different awards that they have won. So once again, let's give a big round of applause for our... Mr. Fields, where did the microphone go? Would you mind introducing yourselves and your positions, please, within the department?
This is their favorite part.
I'm Alexis Sanchez. I'm the Senior Admin Assistant.
I'm Luz Capirel. I'm the Marketing Specialist.
I'm McKenna Mattingly. I'm the graphic designer.
I'm Gardner Jordan. I'm the Multimedia Specialist.
And I'm Jessica Bautista. I'm the Director of Marketing and Public Information. So.
Big smile, and don't judge me. 1, 2. Awesome. All right, so we'd like to say congratulations to Layla at HTA for first prize in the cupcake cook-off. So if Layla, if you're in attendance, please, if you wouldn't mind coming up. And I thought I saw Ben from Chartwells. Ben, if you would come on up as well. Thanks, Layla, right there in the middle. So Chartwells, our food service vendor, recently hosted a cupcake cook-off with our elementary schools, and the competition was, I didn't write this, deliciously impressive. Congratulations to Layla from HTA for earning first place. Students partnered with their cafeteria lead for this competition. So congratulations go out to Esmeralda Bajit from HTA. Your creativity and baking talent truly stood out. We are so proud of you. And so Ben, if you wouldn't mind describing it for us a little bit.
All right, this was our first attempt at a cook-off. We were very excited how it went. It was great partnering with all the schools. We definitely couldn't have done without the help of all the principals, of course, our leads as the sous chefs, and then, of course, our executive chefs. All 9 did an outstanding job. I happen to be one of the judges. I also want to thank President Wade for being a judge. We had a sugar rush, and it was a hard choice. It came down to the creativity, but overall, every cupcake was amazing to eat. So you really stood out. So thank you so much for the job you did.
It was a vanilla cupcake with yellow frosting and like gold edible glitter in the frosting, and it had a cookie on the side with strawberry toppings.
All right, now it's come to the time where we're going to do our points of pride. Could I have Mr. Potts and his admin team come on down for the Sossaman Spartans?
Thank you, Superintendent Lotzenheiser. I know you were on the watch with Jessica at the business partner breakfast. Do we have a time limit, or can we just brag and brag and brag? Okay. Well, thank you, President Wade and the governing board and cabinet for having us. This is one of our favorite times of the year. We try to do a good job all year long and strive to celebrate all the different individuals on our campus that make Spartan Nation the best nation. But tonight we get to pick 4 individuals to celebrate. And so we try to do that throughout the year. We do We Appreciate Wednesdays. We do Thursday thank yous. We partner up with PTSO in some of those. And we have last year's volunteer here, Michelle Morris. She's one of our amazing PTSO members. And so we're very excited to talk about these 4 individuals who do such amazing things on our campus each and every day. And so let's start with our Points of Pride Teacher of the Year, Miss Dana Jim. Come on up.
Mrs. Jim is one of the brightest stars on Sossaman's campus. Let's start with her contributions in the classroom, where you can walk in any day of the week and find her imploring robust and scaffolded discussion questions to help walk students to a correct answer and increase their critical thinking, giving them agency, giving them advocacy, giving them skills that they need in order to be successful and be more confident in the classroom, and working in small groups. She does a tremendous job there. In addition to that, she's also a vital member of our PLC Guiding Coalition, and her passion and dedication to the needs of students was the catalyst for one of the most in-depth and robust PDs we've had for teachers, who all said it was the best one we've ever done, all thanks to the advocacy that she pushed forward for students. In addition to that, she's also our SPED department chair, and so she works all day putting out fires for students and supports a team of teachers who have some of the most challenging and unique needs on our campus. In addition to that, she also coaches track for us, and there's several more in additions to that I could go on for. Mrs. Jim has touched the lives of so many students and teachers on our campus in so many different ways, and we are blessed to have her on our campus, and it plays a significant part of what makes Spartan Nation so great. Thank you, Mrs. Jim. Miss Jim, who'd you bring with you tonight?
The 7th grade math team, a little ELA, and a little science.
Does she stay? Yeah. Yes, you stay. Come on over here. First time we've done this, apparently. Next up, we'd like to recognize our Volunteer of the Year, Miss Soraya Sharp. Come on up, Soraya. Soraya has taken on all kinds of volunteer roles, not only at Sossaman, but also at Higley High School. And so she's an amazing part of Spartan Nation. This goes back to 4 years ago when I came into Spartan Nation as a principal. I remember sitting in my driveway trying to fill some last-minute holes on our campus as we started the new school year. And I will use the word encouraged, but it was really begged Soraya to help us out in the English department. Do you remember that, Ms. Sharp? And so since then, and even prior to that, Soraya has just taken on so many roles on our campus, whether it's as a chaperone, with Winter Guard, with band at Higley High School. She is probably taught in every position on our campus. She's absolutely amazing. The kids love her. The campus loves her. We have a wall on our campus that just has different family photos, as we call them, throughout the year. And she's up there with Keaton Jones, for those who know Keaton. So when he came to campus, and she was Keaton Jones' teacher. So she is through and through a Spartan, and we appreciate all she does as a volunteer, as an educator on our campus. Thank you for all you do, Soraya. And who did you bring? I have to really quick, I forgot this part. So the other day, Soraya and her son Colin, who's a Spartan, were getting out of the car, and my favorite part of the day to start the day is doing traffic in the morning. They're getting out of the car. I greeted both, and I said, "Hey, Colin," he's hiding over there, embarrassed. I said, "Hey, Colin, did you hear the good news? Your mom has been selected as Points of Pride," and he took 5 different steps. I was like, "Wow, he ignored me. That's super rude." And then he stops and goes, "Yeah, it's about time. What took so long?" So, yeah, wait no longer. So, who did you bring with you?
Well, I brought Colin over there hiding. And my son Parker is here, my husband Chesley Sharp, and then hopefully my other sons are watching this streaming. I have one in Virginia and one at home. So,
all right, shout out to Ms. Sharp. Thank you, Ms. Sharp. Next up, we have our classified staff member, and this is Mr. Josh Acuna. Come on up, Josh.
So Josh is our classified staff of the Points of Pride, and one thing that Josh is our campus safety monitor on campus. He is fairly new. We were actually just talking. He came in after spring break last year, and he has demonstrated such an integral part of our community as a whole. He's built into the respect and accountability and being there for anything, whether it's a hurt student or let me help our plant foreman put umbrellas up or let me make sure a staff member gets to the car. One of our favorites right now is Josh treats us to different cookies. He loves to bake. And so his cookies go like wildfire, but Josh is definitely one of those standout people on our campus every single day that just goes above and beyond, and we are so grateful that he fits so well into the puzzle at Sossaman. We're so proud of his efforts, his work, and ultimately he is well deserving of this award, so congratulations. We don't normally see Josh dressed up in this. I think Mr. Latzenheiser today saw him in his full campus security gear, and so looking so sharp and dapper. Who did you bring tonight?
That would be my wife right there, Brittany Acuna, and my 2 sons, Thomas and Joshua.
Josh was also helping out Friday night at our band dinner concert. He was grilling, and I don't know if you want me to share this, but he will be in a commercial that will be coming out very soon. So yeah, he's a bit famous, right? And so congratulations, Josh. And so as we finalize here, definitely last, but definitely not least, the most important people we have on our campus, right, is the students. And so we'd like at this time to call up our student Spartan Points of Pride, which is Kaylin Selvey. Kaylin, come on up. The downside of being a middle school educator is we only get them for 2 years. Right? And Kaylin is one of those that's going to be missed, right? It is, with 1,100 students on campus, a huge compliment to Kaylin is she is seen every single day. Whether it's offering a fist bump, whether it's at lunchtime, walking around with peers, just saying hi to people. As a student athlete, she just finished her basketball season, right? I would go to the basketball games. In warm-up, she's encouraging her teammates, kind of just those words of encouragement to get them hyped up. She is everywhere on our campus. She's taken photos of the 7th grade basketball game before playing in her basketball game. At the band dinner concert the other night, she is hustling. I actually had to tell her, Kaylin, the line's long. Can you just slow down just a little bit while we get caught up on the burgers? She is giving orders. She was telling people where to go. She is doing it, right? Kaylin is absolutely amazing on our campus. I can't say enough things about her. Kaylin, thank you for being a Spartan. Thank you for leading by example. Thank you for all you do for the last 2 years. We're going to miss you. Congratulations to Kaylin Selvey. And who did you bring tonight? I see some people filming you over there.
I brought my family with me. Thank you so much, guys. I love you so much. Thank you for coming.
Let's hear it again for our Points of Pride from Spartan Nation. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Potts. Now, Mr. Bannock, while we're switching the slide, if Mr. Bannock from Higley High and his admin team would come on up, let's give a round of applause for the Higley High Points of Pride.
Sorry, we'll get set up in the meantime. All right, there we go. Thank you, Superintendent Lotzenheiser, President Wade, members of the board, and thank you all of you for being here tonight. We are celebrating 4 individuals here tonight for Higley High School, and we could easily celebrate so many more. We have so many people that we can thank and honor for being a member of our Higley family. We are super proud to be able to honor these people here tonight. They're well-deserved, and we're just going to dive right into it. First of all, I'll introduce myself. My name is Brian Bannock. I am the proud Higley principal. With me is Mr. Aaron Dilley. He is our assistant principal and athletic director. And the first person that I'm going to let Mr. Dilley introduce tonight is Colonel David Vaughn.
All right, it's truly a pleasure to be recognizing this great man. Colonel David Vaughn exemplifies the very best of what Higley's Points of Pride represents through his unwavering commitment to students, service, and leadership. Through his dedication, Colonel Vaughn has built a highly competitive, disciplined, and values-driven AFJROTC program that constantly challenges students to achieve excellence. His leadership has guided the Higley AFJROTC drill team to multiple consecutive state championships, 3, about to be 4, a testament to his high standards, meticulous preparation, and belief in his cadets' potential. Beyond the AFJROTC program, Colonel Vaughn extends his impact across the entire campus by supporting a wide range of clubs and organizations in their philanthropic and service initiatives, modeling selflessness and community responsibility. He routinely sacrifices personal and family time to ensure cadets are prepared for practice, competitions, and leadership opportunities, never seeking recognition for his own efforts. Colonel Vaughn carries himself a daily example of integrity, professionalism, and servant leadership. His influence reaches as far beyond awards and trophies. He shapes students into confident leaders and responsible citizens, making him a truly deserving Points of Pride nominee.
Mr. Bannock, who did Colonel Vaughn bring with him tonight?
That's right, we forgot that part.
this doesn't just happen by yourself. So I need to recognize my amazing wife, Amy, who's in the back there. Giving up late nights and weekends, she sacrifices a lot, not only on active duty, but still as we do what we do here. But I can't do it alone. I have an amazing co-conspirator who happens to be here as well tonight, Senior Master Sergeant Jessica McDevitt. It's truly a partnership, both at home and in the office. Thank you both.
All right, well deserved. Our next is going to be our classified staff, Miss Christina Isaacson. Aaron. Christina is a true champion for college and career readiness, consistently demonstrating passion in her area, and has a drive with unwavering commitment to student success beyond graduation that is evident to those around her. Her competitive spirit and strong work ethic push her to gain knowledge, bring impactful opportunities, and hold creative and meaningful events for our students and families. Most importantly, she is willing to help her team wherever there is a need. She creates strong relationships with staff and students, builds a supportive environment with coworkers, and is truly dedicated to her position as our college and career specialist. These attributes make her a point of pride for Higley High, and we are thankful she is a part of our team. Congratulations. Oh, we forgot it twice now. Christina, who'd you bring here with you?
My two kids, Annie and Henry.
Thank you. All right.
All right, Tani, would you do us the honor of coming on down, please? All right, I think I spend a lot of time until I realize how much time Tani spends, and then I realize I don't. Tani is the president of our football booster club, and while that is a full-time job in itself, she still somehow finds the time to support countless other programs on campus. She has helped the football booster club reach new heights in fundraising, team meals, team apparel, team travel, team events, and many more. While doing this, she has also become a welcome member of our Higley family, as she spends as much time on campus as almost all of us. She helps make connections to other programs on campus and is the first to always offer a helping hand, usually before she's even asked. We have seen her supporting numerous teams and clubs with her time, her efforts, her connection, and most importantly, her energy. Her spirit of teamwork has helped create a culture where everyone at Higley supports and roots for each other. We have become a closer family because she is a part of our family. We are grateful for her and happy to honor her with this recognition. Tani, oh, you don't get away that easy. Who do you want to recognize here with you?
I brought my family, and I have our football booster board here.
All right, last but not least, our student point of pride, who unfortunately could not be here tonight because he's doing awesome student things. He's actually competing in a tennis match right now, so and he's on the other side of the valley, so unfortunately that's why he couldn't be here. But fortunately, his father will be here to accept his award in his place. So Mr. Navarro, can you please come up and accept the award for Francisco Navarro? All right, a little bit about Francisco. Francisco exemplifies excellence, dedication, and servant leadership in every area of his involvement on our campus. A varsity tennis player, Francisco demonstrates commitment and discipline both on and off the court. Beyond athletics, he has devoted countless hours to our theater program, playing a significant role in helping the troop achieve honor troop status. Through his diligence and leadership, our troop earned Honors Gold and the prestigious Award of Distinction, an honor awarded to only 4 schools. As the historian for Higley High School of Theater and Thespian Troupe, Francisco preserves and celebrates the legacy of the program while continuing to elevate its standard of excellence. Francisco also serves as a student thespian officer for the state of Arizona, representing not only our school, but student artists across the state with integrity and professionalism. His leadership extends beyond titles. He regularly stays after school simply to ask teachers how he can help. He is the embodiment of a true servant leader. An integral part of our Mandarin program, Francisco recently played a major role in hosting and collaborating on a student-led Lunar New Year concert alongside visiting students from China. His cultural awareness, initiative, and commitment to building meaningful connections reflect the global mindset we strive to cultivate at Higley High School. How many languages does he speak fluently?
Fluently, 3.
3. And which ones?
Japanese, Spanish, English.
Okay, so not too bad, right? Okay. Francisco Navarro represents the very best of Higley High School. We're incredibly proud to honor him as our Points of Pride nominee. And although Francisco couldn't be here, his father is here, and?
Yeah, my wife, the mother, is right there.
Thank you very much for being here. You know what, before we get to upcoming events, we'll just take a little 5-minute break. And if you guys would like to go ahead and head out right now, we'll do that. President Wade, members of the board, I'll go ahead and finish the superintendent's report. When we talk about upcoming events, I'm sure no one's counting down, but spring break starts March 9th. And so we know we'll finish this week and then go to 2 weeks of spring break. On Monday, March 23rd, school resumes. The following week, Thursday, April 2nd, we do have our superintendent and governing board visit to Higley High School, and we're looking forward to that. On Friday, April 3rd, there is no school for the spring holiday, and then our next board meeting is not until April 7th, so we have about a month until we get to our next board meeting. And that concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Lotzenheiser. Up next on the agenda is request to speak, but we currently do not have any requests to speak, so this brings us to consent agenda items. I motion to approve consent agenda items 5.1 through 5.12. That would be Ms. Jarman seconding. Oh yeah, we can submit our vote. Please submit your vote via the portal. Ms. Zimmerman, I don't have the summary report. Is that all 5? Sweet, we can do that. So I can close this, is what you're telling me? All right, excellent. I mean, until it's fixed, I'll just pull it up after, that's fine. So if we could all verbally vote, that'd be great. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye, motion carries 5-0. This brings us to 6.1, third review of the 2026-2027 maintenance and operation budget. Ms. Rushkamp.
President Wade, members of the board, tonight we will take our third review of the M&O budget. This will look very similar to the previous 2 presentations that we looked at. So this slide we have seen, again, this is the third time. There are no changes made to this slide. Again, we speak a little about AEL, our known budget implications, and then as a reminder for our budget transfer from M&O to capital, we are reducing that a little going into next year down to $3.25 million. And again, that's to pay for our middle school leases. This slide has changed slightly. The top portion is still when we came in December and revised the budget for this current year, 26. We were just under 119 million. Now going into 27, so July 1st, we will start that budget cycle. This has increased by $450,000 up to $111,400,000 and just about 43,000. 200 of that is additional one-time funding for the former Prop 123, which is now a supplemental, and that's just increased, and it's still conservative, but just based on the different meetings I attend and additional information that has been received, feel pretty confident we will be getting a little more than what had previously been projected. And then also looking at our budget balance carry forward for this current year that we're in, we've been projecting 19 million, thinking it will come in slightly higher than that, just based on where we were at last week. So that makes up the 450,000. Also new to this slide is the knowns from our January budget meeting or our board meeting where we had the 3% compensation increase for the salary exempt and the 4% compensation increase for the classified hourly. Those are coming from M&O. The certified staff, again, will come from classroom site funds. So taking where we were in December, projecting where we'll be July 1st, it's a $7.4 million deficit. The fixed cost increases, a few of these have been trued up. We've heard from the trust for our property and then our workers' comp, what our rate increase should be. So those have been changed to those estimates. Health insurance, we're still working on health insurance. We know we will have an increase. Right now we're projecting the $600,000 out of M&O. But again, by the end of this week, we will have a firm number on that. And as I've mentioned before, the schools and departments, we are holding them. We did not take any funds away, and we did not give any M&O funds going into next year because they did have a larger reduction this year. So the total of that is just under $1 million, $980,000. So we take the $111 million we were looking at and knowing we had about a 7.4 deficit, from the January 27th governing board meeting that we had, and we had looked at position reductions. It was voted on the 3.5 million. So that reducing our budget by that is going to take away from the negative. And then we had the pay increases for salary exempt and classified hourly that I just mentioned. That was about 1.1 when mandatory payroll taxes were added to it. And then the estimated fixed costs that we just spoke about. So right now it's looking that there will be about a $6 million use of fund balance because we are budgeting to a deficit. So this, for the next meeting, April 7th, that will be our first look at the capital budget. So, and we will bring that twice, whereas M&O came 3 times. Capital we will do twice and hopes to get an approval in May so that we can start ordering long lead time items that maintenance will need and IT for the next school year. And then on May 5th, we will also do our final budget revision for this current year, 2026, see where our numbers are there. And then June 2nd, we will have our proposed 27 budget, and June 23rd, our adopted 27 budget. And with that, I will take any questions.
President Wade, I just had a question about the, I know last time we discussed a possible refi. I don't know if you had a chance to look into that.
We have, yep, we have been talking with Stiefel about that. That won't affect M&O. It will affect our debt accounts, but yes, we have been looking into that, but nothing's been finalized yet.
Great.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
President Wade, I was kind of what Board Member Van Hook just mentioned. I was wondering the same things. So, but also be cognizant of, usually if there's refis and stuff like that, there's potential add-on fees and stuff like that. So if we can be mindful of that. We really want to do what's best. It's kind of, this is really mentally challenging for me to look at these numbers. So I'm grateful that, we're being really cognizant of these numbers, really meeting the rubber where it meets the road, trying to get those resources to the teachers and trying to really be strategic for that M&O fund. And so just keep it going, keep as true to these numbers as you can, and be mindful. I've had multiple conversations where the schools and all that kind of stuff, they're really kind of reaching out as they always do, but just really being mindful of making sure that the schools and admin have all the resources and the teachers that they need, but also being very zealous and forthright and conscious of their spendings, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Rushkamp. This brings us to 6.2, K through 5 ELA instructional materials adoption recommendation. Ms. Davis.
Good evening. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to go over our recommendation for the K-5 ELA curriculum adoption. And I just want to go over and highlight our adoption process. It was quite a lengthy process that we started over a year ago with the goal of ensuring a thoughtful, research-based process that honored stakeholder feedback. Our timeline was intentionally designed to bring a recommendation to you all by March, with the hope of getting the materials into our teachers' hands before the school year is over, as well as a timeline to explore and kind of play with those materials and even maybe build in some professional learning before the school year is out, depending on the timeline with the vendor. I also want to highlight that the steering committee, which is made up of HEA reps, instructional coaches, site admin, as well as district leadership, worked together last year to develop a robust scope and sequence for our RFP to ensure it would meet all of our district needs and priorities. So it was a pretty tight list of needs and priorities. And we also were working hard to ensure that teacher, administration, instructional coach, and parent and community voice were heard throughout the entire process. So we also had a district review committee that came into play to review all of the vendor materials that were submitted. Our members participated in 3 different orientation sessions that reviewed all of our ELA state standards. We reviewed the science of learning, science of reading, and we also went over what does solid research-affirmed ELA instruction look like, and how would that show up in a instructional program. And then they also had 3 full days to review each of the different materials. We broke that up across a few weeks. And then we did have the budget constraints that came in, so that we reduced or narrowed our adoption scope to K-5, and we moved 7 finalists forward for that 60-day public review. And from there, we had vendors present to our steering committee, and we brought forward some best and final offers from that group. And throughout that process, discussions focused on the instructional quality, the district fit, teacher planning demands, as well as the impact on student learning. Which brings us to today, which is our final recommendation. So I just want to take a quick second to highlight the full steering committee and take a moment to thank them for the significant time and commitment they dedicated to the adoption over the past year, their willingness to engage in hard and sometimes difficult conversations while consistently keeping our students and teachers at the center of the work. It was critical to our process. And I don't have a slide with all of our district review committee names, but I also really want to take a moment to thank them for their time, their expertise, their thoughtful input throughout the process. Their feedback and perspective were invaluable in shaping our recommendations and our work that we've done. So with that, as you can see on our screen, our recommendation is CKLA by Amplify. We didn't come to that decision lightly. Following vendor presentations, the steering committee ranked each program based on quality, effectiveness, and fit for HUSD. The team reviewed best and final offers to determine the most cost-effective adoption design aligned to district needs, priority, and budget. The district initially anticipated selecting separate K-3 phonics program and a K-5 program. But based on stakeholder feedback and our vendor learning, the steering committee explored a comprehensive K-5 core program that has embedded systematic and explicit phonics instruction. This approach provides a more cohesive program, eliminates the need to crosswalk multiple curricula to ensure alignment to standards and instructional time requirements. It also promotes consistent use of materials across campuses, improves coherence in teacher planning, and supports stronger and more equitable student learning outcomes. So based on that criteria and feedback, I'm going to repeat it again, the district is recommending a K-5 comprehensive core adoption with embedded phonics and selecting Amplify CKLA as our finalist. I just want to highlight some of the key takeaways that make CKLA the strongest curriculum for HUSD. We had overwhelmingly strong stakeholder support, both from our district review committee, our steering committee, and our public review. It came out top. It is very tightly aligned to all of the research, to science of reading, and to our state standards. It is on the Maurer approved list, both as a complete core, There are just a ton of instructional supports in there, a lot of teachable moments for teachers if they aren't sure how to teach a certain phonics skill or how to teach a certain standard. There are some teaching moments in there for teachers and specific to literacy skills only. That K2 embedded systematic and explicit phonics is robust. I know an embedded phonics can be scary, but this one is actually a full phonics curriculum. It has a rich knowledge-based, so students are reading within a topic and building their knowledge on that topic through engaging with multiple different texts and articles on that topic and really building their knowledge on that. There is writing and research and grammar and language and speaking and listening all built in there. So it is a full comprehensive program. It is rigorous and engaging. It is developmentally appropriate so that all the texts that they are reading are the right for their age and their development. And the last one, there's a lot of teacher supports in there, both for student access, so if they need English language supports in there, if a student is on an IEP, supports for them there, as well as engagement and skill development. And then the last one I'll name is, it is cost effective for us. It is a one-time purchase, and there's also digital access that comes with this as well. So that takes us to our next steps. We will be creating our professional learning plan to onboard our teachers and our instructional coaches, literacy coaches, to all the materials. Once we move past our vote tonight, we are able to move forward with working with the vendor for that, and then also to schedule the ordering and delivery of the materials. With that, I will turn it back over.
Do we have any questions or comments for the board?
President Wade, thank you so much, Ms. Davis. I just like to kind of emphasize it. Thank you so much for that explanation. It really seems that this is a really thought out process, and so I really appreciate the time that you all have taken on this. In addition to kind of some of the questions, what's lucky being board members is we get to kind of ask some extra questions. So I'm so grateful for your answers on that, but I just want the community to know, like, I love political neutrality in these kind of situations, so I just want to ensure that overall, core foundations is what this curriculum focuses on.
Before I answer, I would like for you to clarify what you mean by core foundations.
Oh, the core, good question. Not principles, what is it? What were, from the state requirements.
The standards from the
Our
state.
Standards, yes.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Yes, that is what the whole program would focus on, is our state standards and literacy skills.
Okay, fantastic. And I love, like, when I heard the idea of the phonics being enriched in this, you know what I mean? So I'm so grateful that we're mindful of that, and that in a way this will be such a financially conservative to the district. So thank you so much for thinking about that and being thorough, that it actually will cross those T's and dot the I's when it comes to the phonics. So thank you so much. And thank you so much for reaching out and getting the feedback from everybody who, you know, or who took the time, actually is probably what I should say, to let the district know what they wanted. So thank you so much, everybody, for letting us know. I love how you put it on the website. We've got the times exactly, and I came in and you guys were available. So any question I had, you guys were there. So thank you so much.
Go ahead, Ms. Van Hook.
Okay. So I know we currently pay for 95%. Will we stop using them going forward?
95% was one of our vendors through the RFP, and that was not selected to be a finalist. So no, it would not be repurchased for use.
Okay, thank you. And then,
I do want to step in though. We do have 95%, they're tier 2 resources that schools will continue to be able to use. And then all of the purchase materials that we have for 95% can continue to be used as an intervention for additional supports for students. So even though we may not be purchasing it as our core phonics program, we will still have available those resources that we currently already have available to continue using with students that have those additional needs.
okay, that's what I was asking. Thank you. And then as far as lessons are concerned, if there happens to be a lesson that is outside of the scope of literacy or state standards, at what point would we be able to manage those modules and specific lessons to be able to disable them? And will that be done at the publisher level, or are they going to allow us to do it here? As my expectation is that ELA just remains focused on literacy instruction.
Each grade level has one choice unit that we are able to swap out at the district level. And if I do recall correctly, and I will fact check myself on this one, at the district level, we are able to go through each text. I wouldn't say each unit or each lesson necessarily, but be able to say, we're going to skip this one. I know we can also do that with the digital library.
Okay, and
some of those details, because we haven't been able to have those conversations at that depth with the vendor, we'll be having once the recommendation is approved.
Perfect. And then speaking of libraries, do you know if there's like an online library where students have access to be able to look through independently, or will they only be able to access assigned material?
The texts that they would be able to access digitally are for their grade level. And then the teacher can also push out the text to them. So the teacher can, my understanding at this point is that they can either push them all out or hold them and push them out as they're going to assign them. But that is one of our top questions to ask them once we get past the approval of the adoption.
Okay.
But from all my research that I have found, there is control from the district and control from the teachers.
Okay. And then I guess that applies to like other digital components aside from like books that they would have to read. And then contractually, like what safeguards do we have in place if any of the content changes during the term that we have this?
I don't remember the specific contract language within the RFP, but we can definitely share that. There is specific language in the RFP related to changes in the content, that kind of thing, that the district has to be notified prior, and could nullify the purchase if they do things without telling us, kind of things. But again, the specific language within the RFP, I don't have off the top of my head, but we can certainly share that with you.
Thank you. And then what happens financially if, let's say that the program does not produce measurable results or measurable gains, hypothetically speaking?
Approving this recommendation, we are purchasing the materials for a 5-year contract. But again, looking at other districts that have implemented this, they actually saw, usually with a new adoption, you're going to see what's called an implementation dip. So you would see that the scores of students actually go down in the first year. The Scottsdale recently adopted CKLA. They did not see any noticeable implementation dip in their first year of using CKLA. That's the only other district in the East Valley that I'm aware of that's using this program. But again, just knowing their demographics and ours are very similar. When we look at our scores versus their scores, we are pretty close at the elementary level. So I anticipate, based on what we've seen in terms of the research, I don't anticipate that would be an issue. But obviously, at the end of our 5-year term, we would be going out for an RFP, and if it's not showing results, then we would be looking at a new resource.
And is it possible for the board to be able to see like quarterly outcomes, updates as far as, just the literacy outcomes when it comes to, how it's going?
We, right now, benchmark our students at the end of first, second, and third quarter. It's aligned to AASA. We can certainly share with you the results of those benchmark assessments. They are broad scale assessments, so they look like what the students take at AASA. And we track that longitudinally as well, so certainly that is something that we can share with the board at the end, following our benchmark testing at the end of each quarter.
Yeah, and just specifically to this curriculum is, and I don't know if you do specifically for reading.
It's an ELA test, so it's third, fourth, fifth, and we do it third through eighth grade, but we can. Again, it's looking at the skills and standards that are assessed on the state test. So that we would be able to share. We also do our screener, beginning of the year, middle of the year, end of the year, and in both reading and math, and that's K6. So we can certainly share the screening results as well. That's really identifying our kids at risk of not being able to learn at grade level. And that the phonics piece really addresses that. So certainly we can share some of those results as we get them. A metric specific to the resource, we would be using the publisher created test, and in my opinion, the independent benchmark test and the independent screener would be a better reflection of how students are actually performing.
Got it. And then, are there annual renewal costs that are tied just to the digital access, or it's all included?
No, that is all included in the one-time adoption cost. We get it for 5 years.
Perfect. A few more questions, sorry. And then what's the training timeline for teachers?
We haven't been able to discuss that without having an approval to be able to talk with the vendor about it. But we do have professional learning built in from the vendor. It is gratis, that's the word I want, right? It's 24 half days that we can use within the first year.
And then will the vendor provide any type of support for like the first year of implementation?
That's the 24 half days.
Oh, got it, okay.
What they'll provide.
And then how will you measure like teacher feedback and any type of implementation challenges?
I'm a big fan of providing surveys to our teachers so that we can collect feedback on a regular basis. So we would implement a feedback cycle in that way.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Oh, were you going to say? Go ahead, Mr. Glover.
Sure. Okay, thanks. Just a couple things. I wanted to thank you both and hopefully congratulate you that this will be over. I know what a relief it is to kind of get through these things. It is a very long process. Before I start on any other comments, I just want to point out that we're spending $1.3 million because somebody at the state of Arizona decided that the materials we had, which we were successful with, and our kids were literate and reading, decided that that no longer met the needs of the state of Arizona. So this is why we are here doing that. I would prefer not to have spent that money and spent it on some other areas, but here we are. I did talk to Mr. Lotzenheiser yesterday, and I had a bunch of questions which he answered for me, and I appreciated. I was interested and wanted to make sure about the training piece, getting that done before the start of the school year, so I'm pleased to hear that. And also, I heard you mention that you're trying to get the materials into the hands of teachers as soon as you can, and I applaud you for that, because the good ones will want that and will want to get ahead, and providing them the materials to be better at their job, the sooner they can be is great. I was a little surprised about the granularity that we don't know about some of the functions, but I just had one little tip, I think, for future adoptions. It's not a criticism of this one, but in my conversations with Mr. Lotzenheiser, and maybe it's been a while since I did adoptions when I was younger in my career. What I did in the area of social studies is I got an entire set of everything, and I put one at each school. So like 6th grade might have been at school A, 5th grade set, and I think that's a handy thing. And I just asked the vendors, and they provided them. And so to have that for future adoptions so that teachers can be there, because it's hard for them to get here during the school day, obviously, and really look through the materials. But if they're kind of sitting around the campus, that would be a good idea for future adoptions. So I think that was, let me just check my notes. That was everything, but hopefully we'll have a sigh of relief for you guys.
First, I wish to express my gratitude to all folks who participated in the process, because as Mr. Glover said, it is a laborious process. And I also, to all of our teachers who are impacted by the change in this curriculum as well, I am appreciative of all of the work with which you are going to be doing over the course of the coming months, because not only do you prep for the coming year, but having to change your curriculum is really hard. And I don't think people are always aware of what that means. To Mr. Berkshire's point, the idea of that slips, part of that happens is because sometimes we don't always really know what the best way to teach these things are until after you look at the data and go, oh, that wasn't, the best. How can we do better? You seem to do better, have those things as far as PLC. And so really, I'm just informing folks who may not be a part of the education process to recognize that these things are done with intention. They're done in a way that kind of leads to where Higley is and why Higley is doing as well as we are, is because at the end of the day, teachers are doing the best they can with the things that they have, and we take the time to look at it, so I'm appreciative of that. I think all of the questions that we've had up forward, I'm grateful for, because I have similar ones in terms of when can we get access to these things and all of that. And so maybe after you have some of these conversations, you can just let us know in a status and all that jazz. So at the very least, we know when to, maybe bring an extra coffee for our kids' teachers and those types of things, because the work gets rough and laborious. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Ms. Davis. Go ahead. Yeah.
And I just want to mention, one of the questions I asked is how many parents came in to review the material, and there was only 2 parents, and that's unfortunate, because I think this is a great opportunity for parents to be able to be engaged in the curriculum process as we want to be proactive versus reactive. And I don't know if any other board member went, but I took time off work and I went in to review the material, and I walked in and it was very overwhelming. We had 7 publishers and each grade for each publisher, and that was a lot of information. And it took me about 2 hours to go through just 2nd grade for one publisher. And I understand the whole process is extremely complex. One of the recommendations I made is having like a map or a guide for parents to be able to go through, like know where to even start. And I kind of went through and like organized the books in order before I even started, just so it made sense to me. But I get it, it's overwhelming, but I do hope that parents understand how important it is to be engaged in what children are learning, and take the time to, clearly staff took all this time and effort to put into this, and I think parents need to be as equally engaged in the process to be able to understand what it is that their kids are going to be learning. So hopefully, future adoptions, even when we put, books out for 60-day reviews that are purchased, it's important that parents take the time to review the material and bring concerns ahead of time instead of possibly reacting to something that they might find later. Thank you so much.
President Wade, I agree with you on parent involvement, but maybe also parents might, you said it was very overwhelming as it was and a lot for them, that maybe they also defer to the experts, because it is a lot of curriculum that I defer to them as experts too, because I don't know all of the ins and outs of curriculum. And I mean, we have 2 teachers on the board, so you do. But I think as a parent, I always trust the instincts of our district and the experts on the board that look at all of those things. And I appreciate all your time and everything that went into this, so thank you.
Yeah, no, I agree. Also, I went in as well, Ms. Van Hook. To any parent who is listening and taking that recommendation, I think it does 2 things. Not only you can be aware of what it is that your kids are experiencing and going through, but I think it does a good job of showing the care and the thought and the consideration and the work that gets done for your child. Because it takes so many people and so many steps, and it is a lot of information, and the idea of knowing what to look at and how this fits with specific things, understanding the appropriate steps of scaffolding to ensure that there is understanding, all of that is part of what your kid's teacher does. So when you see that and you come in and you go, oh, this is overwhelming, because it is at the end of the day. And so that's why it took the time that it did, so we appreciate that. This brings us to 6.3, supplemental material recommendations. Ms. Davis, that's still you. Okay, great.
All right, so I'm back with the Pre-K through 12th grade Supplemental Materials Committee. And just to remind, this is a committee that was established last year. So I'm back with this year's recommendations, and just want to remind of our goals. So it is sticking with our state statutes that guide the committee and our board policies. I do have a district definition of supplemental materials, and I'll go through our process for how we select and use the materials, and then I will share our recommendations. So first are our statutes and board policies that guide our work. I'm not going to read through all of them, but just to kind of highlight the ones that stand out the most are 15721, and then IJJ are the other, is the board policy that really guides the work. Our definition of supplementary materials, instructional materials outside of our district adopted curriculum that the district, site, department, or grade level require use for all students. And on our committee, we had 7 members this year, 1 district office staff, 3 teachers or instructional coach, and 3 parents or community members. And they were fantastic. They worked really hard on reviewing all the materials. We had quite a lot this year, and they dug in to the research behind it all. So what we do for reviewing the materials, a teacher can propose a material for us to review. They submit a form after they've talked with their administrator about it. Also, parents can make a request of having us review one that might already be on the list. And then we come together in our group. They are in small groups as they review the material. they review the material prior to coming, and they each submit an individual rubric. In their small groups, they discuss their review and their recommendation from that rubric. That rubric includes information on the standards, grade appropriateness, instructional value, and any sensitive content. And then they make a recommendation as a whole group for that material, and then they create a 2-slide PowerPoint that includes a summary of the material, the positives for the material, and any concerns, and then they state if they recommend it or not. And then we do a whole group share out. They make their little presentation to the group, and then as a group we come to consensus on whether or not that material should be recommended and brought forward to you all. So here's our list of materials for this year. For grades 4 through 12, we have Morphing Magic. It is a tool for word study, kind of an intervention for word study for our intermediate grades, and that was recommended for use. I am going to do my best to pronounce this correctly. Mahimina is a textbook for our Spanish 4 class, and that was recommended for use as well, with a permission slip for our videos. In reviewing some of the videos with the translation on, there was some good cussing going on in there. So the parents and the teachers wanted to flag that with permission slip. Otherwise, they were very happy with what was in the textbook. And then grades K through 8, we have Practicing Success Language for Essentials, and that would be a tool for our students that are multi-language learners, so students that are in our ELD, and that was recommended for use as well. And then we have Freckle for math grades K through 12 and ELA K-8. It's a great digital tool to support our students, and that is also recommended. PhET Simulations for Science, and that's out of the University of Colorado, Boulder. Grades K-12, it's a great digital tool for our students to go to and actually do different science simulations that they might not otherwise be able to do. A lot of the committee members said that they got lost in doing it because they had so much fun that they ended up spending like an hour or 2 on there. Said it was very engaging, so they recommended that one as well. And then Mind Play Reading for Special Education Resource ELA grades 7 and 8 as another tool for them to utilize was recommended. We did have All Things Algebra from Teachers Pay Teachers come through for Algebra 1. That was not recommended, as it was a full curriculum, not something to supplement. And as noted, these are all site-based purchases. So this will go forward from here. This is our first read of it. And then I have it all ready to go to open up a 60-day review for the public. That will go out in newsletters. It will be posted on our website under announcements. And I can also, we did this last year, put paper copies up with Arlene at the front desk. Because these are all digital reviews, our community members, parents, teachers, admin can all complete this from home, and because they have access to all of that open source. And then after that 60-day review, I would come back for the second read and then have you guys vote to approve the recommendations. Any questions?
President Wade, Ms. Davis. So yeah, can you kind of repeat kind of where the community and parents and et cetera can find that on the district website, et cetera? Just repeat that real quick.
Gladly. So on the HUSD homepage, you scroll down just a little bit and you'll see the announcements on the left-hand side, and a link will be posted there with how to get to the form to provide the feedback and the list of materials.
Okay, thank you for putting it up there.
And it will also be in the newsletters as well.
I missed the part. You said there was one of them where there was a cussing?
Yes, in the, let me go back to it, sorry. No, it won't let me go back. In the second one, Mahanina, it is a Spanish Honors 4 textbook. They have videos, they are not required videos, but they are referenced in the textbook. And when two of our reviewers were able to find them and put on the translation of it, the translation came back with some cussing. So not being native Spanish speakers, we were not able to parse out whether or not that was because of the translation or actually within the video. So they wanted to err on the side of safety and say, we can put it with a permission slip because it doesn't take away from the academic integrity of the, or the instructional merit of the textbook.
Okay, yeah, I have a concern with that. I mean, if there is in fact cussing, like there was no other option instead of having to request permission slips for.
It was not every video. It was like maybe one or two of them, and the cussing maybe occurred once or twice. It was not a video full of swear words.
But if students use those words in a classroom, they would get in trouble?
Because I'm going to say this was raised by a parent, and she said I don't personally have an issue with it, and another parent also agreed with that. So that's coming from parent feedback.
Yeah. I mean, my 20-year-old doesn't curse, so like some parents might be okay with it, but ultimately it's an educational setting, and that's not the resource that we should be utilizing that has curse words when, especially when if children repeated those in a classroom, they would get in trouble. Just my 2 cents. But one of my concerns, so when you look at the policies that for adoption of material, talks about, ensuring continuity, and I'm curious how we ensure that in policy IJJ when these purchases are site-based. And in the time that I've been on the board, we've never voted to remove material. We just keep approving it. So I'd like to know, when's the last time that we've deleted any supplemental material from the approved list? Is there a sunset review cycle, every 3 to 5 years? Are we utilizing the entire supplemental list that we currently have? And if not, how do we go about weeding out what we're no longer using? And is there material that we're, continuing to pay for that's not being utilized?
So this is only the second year of having this committee in place. So we have not gone through a process of reviewing to remove because this is only our second go at it. And we are not paying for things that aren't being used because they are site-based purchases. If they are being purchased, they are being utilized, and most of the things on our supplemental list are free. For a sunset process, we don't have that in place yet, but that is something that we have discussed because our supplemental list is quite large.
Huge.
And sorry, I just lost my words.
It's okay.
Wow. Go ahead.
We've had the discussions around that But at this point in time, we haven't sat down to determine what that process would look like and what that timeline would look like in terms of how long would at what point do we review supplementals to say, are they being used, number one, by teachers? Number two, are they still effective supplemental resources? Those are all criteria and there's other criteria, but that is certainly a process that we believe needs to begin. But again, we wanted to get this process solidified and ensure that we're identifying the correct supplementals. That's the reason why it's only a yearly process now to bring forward to the board. Moving forward, as we develop those processes to weed, we'll also be bringing those to the board as well.
And do we have a way to show that, to demonstrate like the materials that are being used are helping improve student outcomes?
Supplemental materials are a choice that teachers and sites make to use with students based on their professional judgment of what students need, and will this material, in addition to our district adopted materials, provide additional support for students in their learning. As such, we do not track the use of those supplemental materials and really do not have there would not be a solid way for us to identify the impact that it has on learning because it is a professional judgment. A lot of these you'll find are teachers that what we have just isn't cutting it, and they've gone online and they found an open education resource that they believe meets the need. And that's where our committee comes in to identify, is this genuinely going to meet the need that they've identified? And is it appropriate for students to be engaged with? And so that being able to identify metrics and track that would be very difficult for us to do.
Okay, thank you.
I appreciate the time and effort in this as well, especially for those folks who volunteered their time to come and do this. I'm also appreciative that you guys were thinking about ways in which, to maybe tackle how long that supplemental material list is. I would also argue, again, from a teacher perspective, and I can only speak for myself, but what tends to happen a lot of times as well is that after a couple of years, things feel old in that it doesn't keep the kids engaged in the same way, or it doesn't do the same things as technology constantly changes, or especially if we have new curriculum coming out, you might find there are different supplemental materials that are better for that specific curriculum. And so, when it comes to the sunsetting of some of these things, maybe we don't use some of them anymore because they were best for certain types of curriculum and everything else. And that, again, is labor and time and effort. And we already put a lot of labor and time and effort into all of these things. And so I also appreciate the explanation of each one. That was helpful in terms of, going forward. I want to play around with the science one, so that sounds awesome. I appreciate it. We good for everybody else? This will bring us, thank you, Ms. Davis, for your time, and Mr. Berkshire as well. We have action item 7.1. Tentative approval of fiscal year 2027 maintenance and operation budget. Any questions or comments from the board before I motion? I motion to tentatively approve the fiscal year 2027 maintenance and operation budget to allow for the issuance of contracts to employees for the 2026-2027 school year.
Second.
That would be Ms. Schultz seconding. Please vote via our thing. Maybe, oh, there it is. That was fast. Motion carries 5-0, it seemed. Is that I saw correctly? All right, great. I didn't write the 5. This brings us to item 7.2, approval of 2026-2027 salary schedules. Any questions or comments from the board before I motion?
Yes, Madam President. May I? Okay, thanks. I wanted to make a motion. I'll explain it. We can discuss it. But for the certified teacher salary schedule, in the contract language, it suggests that we can offer up to $350 a year for up to 10 years experience. I wanted to propose to move that to 15. I'd make it 20 if I could, but I think 15 is a good compromise. The reason being that $350 a year, if you get teachers that have been around for 15 years, I think we're at a disadvantage when we don't. People end up in the school districts and they never want to leave. Even though we're losing enrollment, we're also losing teachers. And that's a national problem. So I think to give us an advantage to hire people, pay them for their experience. When when you're in your first 10 years, a lot of it is survival. I mean, once you get to year 7, it used to be year 7, I think it's probably higher now, you were with us till retirement. So I would say that somebody that has 15 years experience, we should pay them, and it's not that much. So in other words, for that extra 5 years of experience, it's another $1,750. It's really not much. In the old days, when we had salary schedules with cells, it was hundreds, sometimes even maybe over $1,000 when they were moving cells. And when we give a teacher a raise for 3%, that doesn't even equal $350. So that might entice some really good qualified teachers who are going to have a lot of experience in the classroom. Maybe that we don't have to train for things again because they already know a lot of those things. So moving that from 10 years to 15 years, I'm going to make a motion that we just change that contract language in the certified teacher salary schedule, but I'm open to anyone. I hope I get a second, but we can discuss it. So thank you.
Before a second, since we can still ask clarification, you're talking about if I am a teacher who is looking to apply into this district and I come here with, let's say, 13 years of experience or even 18 years of experience. When I get hired here, they cap it at 10 years currently of experience. They would recognize you for 15 years of your time or up to 15 years of your time as a previous teacher. Is that correct?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So in other words, it's $3,500 for 10 years experience. So instead of the starting teacher salary, you would add $3,500 onto that. To move to 15, it would go from $3,500 to $5,250.
Because you're talking about adding on to the base, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions before a second or anything happens? Do you have a question?
I'm already concerned with the increases as far as the 4% that was done at the last meeting, and I shared my concerns. And it might, you say it's only this much, but it adds up, and I have a big concern what the impact of that would be financially overall. And again, we're already dealing with a deficit, and adding more to that financially is a problem. So I personally don't think it's a good idea to do that.
President Wade, I think fiscally it's not really responsible to do it this year. Maybe it especially doesn't make sense right now that we're going in the deficit. So I see kind of your motivating factor, but I really do not think it's wise, especially now.
President Wade, go ahead. I was going to ask Ms. Johnson.
Yeah, she looks like she's, I would like
President Wade, members of the board, that would cause a couple of difficulties because we have other salary schedules that we base years of experience on. So just adjusting that one schedule could cause some wage compression from people we just hired this year because we only counted up to 10 years of experience. We have other salary schedules that only go up to 12 years of experience. We also use years of experience for when calculating administrative salaries as well, and we cap it there too at 10. So this could cause some financial concerns, and we haven't analyzed what that could look like in the future. Just my comment at this point.
President, Mr. Glover, so maybe it's something we can look at next year?
Sure,
possibly,
yeah,
if-
and I mean, you have to consider
I think-
also.
Yeah,
Sorry, I didn't mean to
no.
interrupt.
Oh, no, you're fine. I was just going to say, I agree paying people for their expertise and having good teachers is important for our students. But if it doesn't financially make sense right now, maybe we could bring it up, but add it to next year's discussions.
Yeah, well, you know, the greatest, the most beautiful waterfall starts with a drop of water, so got to plant the seed. But sometimes when you have somebody, for example, like myself, I was at the top end of the salary schedule when I retired. So to replace me with a first-year teacher, you're still saving a tremendous amount of money, probably. So anyway, that's fine if there's not a second, but maybe it's something we can talk about in the future. Thank you.
I am interested in at least getting some language or verbiage as to what those changes could look like, what things we could look forward to in terms of the financial impact and all of that. Obviously, we have time considering contracts are in this moment, because the teacher in me looks at the crisis that we all see in front of us, which is a teacher shortage outright. And so I think it would be beneficial for all districts to figure out ways in which that they are the lucrative place for experienced teachers to go. I recognize that everybody needs to start in their career someplace, and I found mine at Higley. I came to Higley because they were offering things that other places weren't. And I think there is some benefit to that. So I appreciate at least getting the ball started, Mr. Glover. Any other questions or comment? Okay, yeah, go ahead.
President Wade, Ms. Johnson, you might not know this, but I just have a question. Do you know if other districts, what theirs looks like? Or I know Mr. Glover mentioned, I believe Gilbert is 10, so just some feedback if you know.
I can look into that for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I motion to approve the 2026-2027 fiscal year salary schedules as presented, effective for the new fiscal year, July 1 of 2026.
Second.
That would be Ms. Schultz seconding. Please take the time to vote on the thing. Ms. Zimmerman, mine is overwhelmingly delayed on this side. Did we have? Okay, motion carries 5-0. Yeah, mine showed up like the last one, about 30 seconds ago. Yeah. All right, good talk. All right. 7.3, approval of the 2026-2027 employee contracts. Do we have any questions or comments from the boards before I motion?
President Wade, I just want to thank everyone who went through all the stuff that I sent in for corrections. It took me a long time to read through it, and I know there was minor stuff like the word bin, but I appreciate the time taken to fix those. Thank you.
President Wade, I apologize. I forgot my glasses. So that conversation that we just had, I meant to have for item 7.3. I'm embarrassed. It was about the employee contracts. It was my motion. So I apologize to everybody for that confusion. I think I just made it
good
in
news.
the wrong place. But
we've created no problems because we just discussed.
I think you're correct. Employee contracts is what I was talking about, but it's okay.
All right, great.
Sorry about that.
I motion to approve the 2026-2027 contracts as presented.
Second.
Was that you, Ms. Sherman? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Sorry. Please vote. Yes, please. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Motion carries 5-0 for 7.3. This brings us to 7.4, approval of RFP number 26-02-31, the adoption of the Amplify Core Knowledge Language Arts, or CKLA, as the K-5 comprehensive core high-quality instructional material. Do I have any questions or comments from the board before I motion? Okay, great. I motion to approve RFP number 26-02-31, the adoption of Amplified Core Knowledge Language Arts, CKLA, as the K-5 comprehensive core high-quality instructional material at a total cost of $1,302,022.40 over 5 years.
Second.
All right, great. You tied. I was staring eye contact at you, Mr. Glover, so that's going to get the nod. Do we have to verbally? Mr. Glover got the second on that one, Ms. Zimmerman. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. All those opposed?
Sorry.
Okay, great.
I just want to explain my vote. I just want to say that, I support the curriculum, but I want to ensure that that it is tightly aligned with Arizona standards, with with the foundational skills, and that the foundational skills time is protected, and then any content outside the scope of ELA standards is blocked, and that we monitor to make sure that students can't go outside of what is assigned. And with that, I'll vote. I can't vote.
No, it was verbal.
Oh, verbal. Oh, okay. With that, I vote aye.
Okay, so correction. Motion carries 5-0. Does anyone have any requests for future agenda items?
Oops. So in regards to the conversation earlier, I would like to see a update made to policy IJJ to add a approving of deleting items, and also maybe like a 3 to 5 year sunset, doing complete inventory and things like that. I'd like to be able to update this policy with that information. That's all.
All right, I motion to adjourn this meeting. Second. That would be Ms. Schultz seconding. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Everybody drive safe and have a wonderful spring break, everybody.